Well, folks, it's a weekend video, which means this is one take. We're just going to roll, okay? We're going to talk about Ttcf Beyond Meat in this video here today, okay? Now, these stocks, I want to talk frankly about both of them, and we're going to get into projections for these stocks. We're going to get into numbers. We're going to get into philosophies around these stocks. We're going to get into what's going wrong with these stocks and what's going right with these stocks, okay? So we're going to get into a lot in this video. I hope you guys enjoy this as always, but needless to say, a lot of investors have gotten fed up with these stocks, right? Ttcf is basically the same value it was a year ago, right? Beyond Meat is down from a year ago. So a lot of folks that are looking at these two stocks and they're just fed up, to be honest, right? They're like, oh, these stocks aren't going to ever do anything. They're just not doing anything, and they're just bad stocks, right? And so I want to give kind of my perspective on a subject like this, which is a big one. So, you know, obviously I was extremely bullish and continue to be bullish on electric vehicles, you know, and how that's going to roll out over the next decade, right? And if you were bullish on electric vehicles, you would think it would just be a perfect kind of ride up, like, right? You think would just always grow. And if you look at electric vehicles on the road in the US and you look at that chart, it looks pretty much perfect, right? But what you're going to find if you look at the actual nitty-gritty results, right, is you're going to find that many times electric vehicle sales in the United States over the past many years went down on a quarter versus quarter basis, meaning sequential, and even sometimes on a year-over-year basis, okay? And so this is very, very important to understand that growth categories don't always go up in a perfect line. That is not how this works. There are certain time periods when they actually can go down. Even in a massive growth sector that you would think it's impossible for this to go down, it doesn't work like that, okay? Even in the highest growth sectors, and this freaks investors out. This makes people go mad, right? Because they're like, oh my gosh, this is supposed to be some huge growth sector, and now it's also not growing. Never mind, it's shrinking. And they're looking at this and they're like, what? No way. Like, this is the end. This is it. This is done. Like, I guess nobody wants EVs anymore, right? And so this has happened many times in EVs, and it happens in every single growth industry. There's been times in the past where smartphone growth completely stalled. I've seen it many times. And people thought, well, that's it for smartphones. I guess there's no more growth there. Yeah, okay, these things, sometimes they take a breather, and it's very important to understand that they take a breather, and it is normal, okay? Now, if we look at the forecasted market value of the plant-based meat market worldwide, it is expected to experience exponential growth over the coming years, right? And that's exactly what I expect. I expect plant-based meals, plant-based meat, plant-based everything to expand exponentially over the next decade and multi-decades. I don't think this is a market that's going to shrink anytime soon, right? Other than maybe on a quarter-over-quarter basis sometimes. That happens, right? But over the years, it is going to be up and to the right, in my opinion, and by a lot, right? And I think everybody's, you know, that knows anything about this industry expects the same exact thing, right? Bloomberg predicts the plant-based market will grow 450% by 2030. And I mean, if you look at pretty much everybody that, you know, really studies this space, everybody expects exponential growth in this space over time. So it's not like it's just me and I'm the only one in the world that thinks like the plant-based food market is going to grow, you know, exponentially over the next 10 plus years and even past that. No, pretty much anybody that's done study in this market expects that, okay? By the way, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. And we got a huge Black Friday sale coming up for the private stock group. If you want to get on the notification list to be notified as soon as that deal drops, check out pinned comment down there. So now, what are the three core reasons why people are switching to plant-based diets, or, you know, at least partially or all the way? One is health reasons. So one could be, you know, their doctor tells them, hey, you need to replace some of your, you know, red meat products, let's say, for instance, with more plant-based foods. So that could be one reason. One reason can be weight concerns, right? I know me personally, you know, when I moved out to Charlotte, North Carolina, I was about maybe 165, 170 pounds. By the time I left Charlotte, North Carolina, 2.5 years later, roughly, I was 225, right? I was out there, I was eating pulled pork all the time. I was eating, slabs of ribs. I was eating bacon. I was eating cheeseburgers left and right, man. There used to be this place called Cookout, this fast food place, man. You got all this for like $4 and some change, $4 or $5. I would get a double cheeseburger from this place, right? I would get 2 bacon wraps. If you don't know a bacon wrap from this place, Cookout, it's basically a tortilla, and inside it is a bunch of bacon and a bunch of cheddar cheese. It was unbelievably good and so ridiculously unhealthy. And I would get a milkshake from this place. Needless to say, I remember going to Hawaii in 2014, and man, there's this photo that should be so pretty of my wife and me, and it's like the sunset in the background. It's just overlooking the ocean, and I just can't even look at that photo because I look at myself and I was just like, "Ooh, man, I don't like the way I look in that," right? And so a lot of folks switch for health reasons. I can tell you, since I've switched my diet to a lot more plant-based foods, and by the way, I still eat meat. Heck, I ate carne asada tonight, so it's not like I'm 100% vegan or 100% plant-based. I've just switched out a lot of my meals toward a more plant-based diet and watch my calories and those sorts of things. So, and I've dropped, in a lot of weight. Let's put it that way. I'm usually between 185 and 190 now, which is what I feel is a healthy weight for me, right? So a lot of people do it for health reasons. A lot of people do it for environmental reasons, and I'm not here to pitch you on the environmental reasons. There's a ton of studies that have been done out there on if we switch to, a plant-based diet versus animal diets, like what that would do for the environment. And this is a huge, huge thing, okay? Do not overlook this. Trust me, the amount of people that care about the environment and are looking for ways that we can change the society, trust me, I know because guess what? I'm a Tesla shareholder, and you're going to get educated, needless to say, on environmental reasons. And so do your own study on that. I'm not here to educate you guys on that, okay? And other people do it for animal reasons. They just don't like, the slaughter of animals, right? They don't like, animals just being raised on a big farm just to slaughter them. So those are 3 core reasons why people are switching to plant-based diets more and more over time. I don't see that trend, dying anytime soon. That's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger for a long, long time into the future. And I think we're going through one of the biggest shifts in diets that we've gone through in a long time, to be quite honest. I don't think we've gone through a change like we're going through right now when it comes to our diets and the way we look at food and drink. I don't think we're going to, I think it's probably 50 plus years since we're going to have gone through a change like we're about to go on right now, and we're already starting to, okay? Now, when it comes to these 2 stocks, we've got to be honest. There's 2 massive differences in these 2 stocks in the way investors are viewing these and the reason these stocks are selling off, okay? With Beyond Meat, it is a fundamental reason why people are looking at Beyond Meat and why a lot of investors have decided to sell out of the stock. Beyond Meat, for the past year or so, has reported a whole lot of quarters that were disappointing. As a matter of fact, I think probably 3 out of the last 4 quarters for this company have been disappointing quarters. They just haven't been reporting great quarters. They've been making excuses left and right why they're missing numbers. Oh, it's restaurants. Oh, it's this. And it's just like, I don't think anybody's really buying it. We're looking at the numbers and we're just like, it's not there, man. Like, there's nothing to really make excuse about. You can make excuses for this and that, but it's just the numbers aren't there. And so the reason investors sold off Beyond Meat, not just this week, but the reason the stock is down over the past year, is fundamental reasons. Why did I sell out of Beyond Meat, quite a while ago? The reason I sold out is for fundamental reasons. I looked at this company and I was like, they're not innovating fast enough. Just straight up, like, the company was not innovating fast enough for where their valuation was at. They were not innovating fast enough. When I first bought that stock, I looked at it and I was like, man, they've done a lot of innovation. And as I held that stock, I looked at it and I was like, the stock, they're not moving fast enough. And then I started finding Tattoo Chef and I was like, oh, this company is moving rather fast. So that's why I got out of the stock, and I think that's why a lot of people have gotten out of the stock, is they're looking at it and they're like, man, you're not moving fast enough. And when you have a huge valuation on yourself, you better be moving fast, man. You better be changing the game. You better be coming out with new SKUs all the time. You better be making 1,000 moves at 1,000 miles an hour. And if you're not, people are not going to support your stock, okay? That's the flat out honest truth. And that's just what has happened with BYND. It's just not moved fast enough. The numbers have been disappointing, and they disappoint again this quarter. And that's why the stock's pretty much at an all-time low or pretty dang close to it, right? Now, Another factor when it comes to Beyond Meat, it's not just around innovation, it's around they've got a serious competitive threat. That is Impossible Foods. I have, I've been eating these plant-based meat products for long enough now that I can really judge them. And I gotta say, I've cooked Beyond Meat many times, and I cooked some Impossible burgers recently, and I gotta say the Impossible I actually like it better. And I like the Impossible chicken nuggets better. And I was hoping to like Beyond Meat better for both of those products because Impossible is not a public company, Beyond's a public company. So I was really going in, I was hoping to like Beyond Meat products better. The chicken tenders I was hoping to like more than with Beyond Meat than Impossible. I ended up liking the chicken nuggets from Impossible more. So I was kind of disappointed of that, but that's just one factor. But at the end of the day, Impossible is a major, major competitive threat to them. There's no doubt about that, okay? If you look at any food store pretty much out there that carries Beyond Meat, they carry Impossible right alongside. And when it comes to Impossible Foods, this is a competitive threat that's not going away anytime soon. As a matter of fact, I believe they're going to try to go public somewhat soon, and they're going to probably raise a ton of money, a war chest of money, to even compete against Beyond Meat even more, okay? And so that's what's going on with Beyond Meat. Let's be very clear. It is fundamental driven reasons why people have been selling off that stock. Disappointing earnings after disappointing earnings after disappointing earnings, and not by little bits, by lots. And so even long-term investors are like, man, I don't know about this. They report super disappointed. Like the quarterly miss was awful they had recently. It was a massive miss. And they're looking at this competitive threat, which is Impossible. Plus there's a ton of other competitors, but this is their main big dog competitor. And like, I don't know, man. And so that's what's happening at Beyond Meat, okay? Now, if we go ahead and look at this. So next year, the company's expected to do 43% growth. But I got to be honest with you guys, these analysts have brought down their numbers in a massive way. I think at one point, analysts were expecting like the company to do 780 or something like that, $780 million of revenue. And so they've brought down their numbers. And I think there's a lot of investors that are like, have the analysts really brought down their numbers enough? 43% growth. And a lot of folks are thinking, man, in 22, could this company miss a bunch of earnings again? And the stock shoots down to $70, $60, $50, right? And so this is what's going on with Beyond Meat, where people are just looking at it and they're like, I don't know about this, and expected to take some pretty, decent losses here, right? Look at this. EPS trends, okay? This is analysts covering EPS. 90 days ago, the analysts on average were expecting the company to lose $1.12 in 2021. Now they brought that number up to $1.82, so expecting the company to lose far more money than before. Basically, 90 days ago, analysts were expecting this company to lose 39 cents. Now analysts are expecting this company to lose $1.08 next year. That's a crazy difference. That's almost like, a 3x in the expected loss, right? If you look at EPS revisions, down revisions in the last 30 days, 12 analysts have brought numbers down. Only one has upped in the last 30 days. And as far as next year, none have upped. And 11 have brought numbers down in the last 30 days, okay? So this means the analyst community, investors in general, they have a big distrust with the fundamentals of Beyond Meat, and they're very, very scared. And that's why I haven't jumped back into Beyond Meat, right? It's like, it's been trading at $70, $80. I haven't just gone out there and been like, oh, I'm buying 100,000 of Beyond Meat or something like that, right? Because I'm looking at the stock and I have those same concerns. Massive competitor in Impossible, which is about to likely get a bunch of money from their IPO. And on top of that, innovation that's been kind of lacking, and just overall disappointing numbers. It hasn't been great. And so to be clear, that is why Beyond Meat has been going down. Okay. Now, in regards to Tattooed Chef, very, very different story. Investors pretty much across the board have been thrilled with the numbers, the fundamentals of the company. They're expanding into every single retailer way faster than expected. They're getting way more SKUs in all the retailers way faster than expected. They're just overall expanding the business model way faster than even the biggest bulls like myself have expected for the stock. So the fundamentals are as great as could possibly be. Expected as for this current year, 60% growth. If they don't hit that, it's going to be at least 50% plus, in my opinion. Next year, 34% growth expected. I wouldn't be surprised if they grow 40% plus next year. When you think about all the retailers they're getting into in the back half of this year, and then getting a full year of that, plus more SKU expansion, plus more store expansion next year, plus new product categories launching next year, which they talked about, snacks, nutritional bars, other products next year. Okay, so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they grow 40% plus next year. Also, analysts expect them to lose a very small amount of money next year. I expect them to take either a very small loss in 22 or maybe even, dare I say, break even in 22, which would be extraordinary for this business model. And long term, I think this is going to be a profit machine. Okay, I think the profits will start pouring in 23 and then really start pouring in 24 and 25 when it comes to this company. If you look at the innovation in this company, it's been extraordinary, right? The innovation's been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you look at this. I mean, it's just incredible. Like what other company in the food space, especially that's a small company, is expanding this many SKUs this dang fast? It's extraordinary. There's nothing short of extraordinary, the rate of innovation at this company. And next year, they're talking about getting into snack category. They're talking about getting into meal replacement bars, nutritional bars, those sorts of things next year. Plus, I would almost guarantee you they're likely going to come out with even more frozen food innovation as well. I just don't know of a food. I've never seen a food company innovating at this scale. Matter of fact, I've never seen a food or drink company innovating this fast before. And this comes from somebody that owned Monster Beverage in the past, okay? And that was a dang fast innovator, okay? So when it comes to Tattooed Chef, I don't think there's any realistic worries on anybody that's actually done any fundamental study on this company about the fundamentals of the business, okay? Now, where people have issues with Tattooed Chef is a reschedule the conference call that just happened, right? And people are distrusting the management team because they're like, you rescheduled the conference call last minute. It's not a great look. And no one knows, why did they reschedule last minute? Was like their death in the family? Did like somebody get Rona? Did they not have the numbers ready? And so that's what happened with Tattooed Chef, where people are looking at it and they're like, dude, you rescheduled the conference call last minute. And so if you were kind of like on the fence about Tattooed Chef, like maybe you own some shares, but you're like, I don't know about this, that's enough to shake you out, right? That's enough to shake you out and you're like, I'm out of this stock. And so I understand that from that perspective. Obviously, somebody like myself, that's not going to shake me out of the stock, but I can understand if there's people on the fence with Tattooed Chef and they see they rescheduled the conference call, people are like, I'm out, I'm dipping, okay? So let's be honest. And then the other thing with Tattooed Chef is people are scared because the share lockups happen now. They're scared like Sam Galletti is going to sell a bunch of shares or something like that. Every CEO always pretty much sells shares. Even the great Elon Musk has sold shares recently, right? Jeff Bezos, I think a week ago, sold like $3 billion. No one blinked an eye. As far as Sam Galletti goes, I don't know him personally, but I would imagine he's going to hold the far majority of his shares. Does he sell some shares every once in a while? I'm sure he might, right? He might want to buy something or pay taxes or something like that. But at the end of the day, I think he would be a very intelligent decision on his part. I'm not his financial advisor, but I think it would be a very intelligent decision for that he holds as many shares as possible for the long term based upon the type of numbers his company's going to put up over the coming years, okay? But that's the two things that have scared people, the conference call reschedule and is Sam going to sell shares, okay? So that's going on there. The innovation's crazy. The fundamentals are crazy. Wall Street's going to come to the stock in a massive way over the next several years when you look at the growth rates they're putting up, when you look at the innovation, when you look at the fact that this company is going to become undeniable in the space, and the fact that Impossible is likely going to go public soon is going to bring even more attention to the plant-based food space and for hedge funds, fund managers to look into this space more and say, hey, is there something here? Oh, what about this company, Tattooed Chef? They're a big player in this. They're one of the bigger market cap companies, okay? It's going to attract more attention there. You can get potentially more ETFs in the plant-based space going that are going to likely have companies like Impossible in them, companies like Beyond Meat, company like a Tattooed Chef, right? And there are, let's be quite honest, a plant-based food leader, and don't be surprised if they end up taking that title over the coming years, okay? So my verdict on these two stocks. So, all right, so let's start out with Beyond Meat first, okay? So when it comes to Beyond Meat, the verdict is this company has, I think, a lot to prove. I think if the share price got low enough, I think I would probably buy it. 55, maybe below 55. Or there's a situation where the stock is under 100, but they start really showing beautiful numbers, right? Really, really nice numbers. But I'm not in a rush to buy this stock. I think they're getting outflanked. I think they're getting outcompeted from Impossible. And I think Impossible is going to drive a lot of attention in dollars from the shareholder base potentially away. And so, I think at the end of the day, I have fundamental reasons why I not that intrigued in that stock, okay? So that's my opinion on Beyond. I still am a believer in the company long term. It's just I'm I'm not nearly as bullish. And they just, they proved over and over, like with their quarterly results, like that's the thing, like their quarterly results just haven't been good, and if they're just consistently massive misses, it's like, what are you going to do? Okay. So that's my opinion on that one. Tattoo Chef, completely different situation. Would I love them to not have rescheduled the conference call? Abso-dang-lutely. Yeah, I wish they wouldn't have rescheduled it. Or they should have. What I wish they would have done if they did reschedule, right? That say they thought they could get numbers together and they're like, shit, we just can't shoot. I can't even edit this video. They're like, shoot, we can't get the numbers together. Reschedule. They should have just been honest and been like, hey, listen, man, we can't get the numbers together. Or hey, there's a death in the Galletti family or something. Like, I don't know what happened there. No one knows, right? But I think they should have been better with the communication, because you got to understand, Tattoo Chef hasn't been public for a long time. They've been public for maybe a little over a year. So they still are trying to build trust with shareholders. It's not like they have shareholders that been investing in this company for 5-10 years. Or, there's a lot of new folks to this company, new folks investing in it, new funds investing in it, and they don't want to see anything that is seen as problematic or risky, right? And so when it comes to that, it's going to be about Sam Galletti and the management team there, the executive team, building back that trust with the investor base, right? And with the analyst community, hitting numbers, beating numbers, making sure the fundamentals are great, but overall just making sure they don't slip up and have any reschedules or conference calls or anything like that, because it's a bad look. It throws a lot of shareholders off. And so let's not get it twisted what the situations are. One of these companies has fundamental flaws. One of these companies has, trust issues with the management team. Okay. So obviously I'm a buyer. Tattoo Chef will continue to be beyond, like I said, if the stock drops enough or they start actually turning the business around, hey, I'm game for that one. It's just, that one's been a little crazy. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video like this where we dive into these two stocks and we talk about it. And I can do definitely videos like this in the future where we dive into two different stocks that are maybe damaged in the market, have crashed, things like that. More than happy to get into that as always, guys. And also, just so you know, we have the massive Black Friday sale coming up for the private stock group. So if you ever want to join my private stock group, we do one of these a year essentially. It's always basically Black Friday. And so if you want to get notified as soon as that deal drops, enter in your email, put it basically as a pinned comment down there, fill out the little form, and we'll shoot you over the deal as soon as it drops on Black Friday. Much love as always, guys, and have a great day.